Bitcoin, Litecoin, OneCoin, and Ethercoin are leading the new currency evolution, and businesses like yours are reaping the rewards. Businesses worldwide are beginning to accept Bitcoin to eliminate the hassles and transaction fees of banking and payroll services. Bank fees, holds on your money, and hassles with payroll companies can be a thing of the past. With the new currency, you are the bank. Join us today with Amazon best-selling author Tom McMurrain and learn how you can use the latest in digital currency to eliminate all the fees and how you can reward your employees in currency that actually appreciates in value. Open your business to the new currency community and the future of payments. And now we invite you to join Amazon best-selling author Tom McMurrain along with your host Rich Casanova and get connected with the future of payments.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the second installment of our brand new show here at the Pro Business Channel Studios in Buckhead, and we're streaming live around the world, around the globe, and we have the man in command here in our studio. You're now listening to the New Currency Show. So we're going to be talking all things currency, digital currency specifically. And so, Tom, back on episode number 2, Tom McMurrain in the studio. Welcome back.
Absolutely, man. We didn't cover it all in the first one, so I'm excited about being back.
Yeah, we left him hanging on the last show. And so the format, again, is kind of just leading with the what's trending, the hot topics, and what's happening in the currency topic of today, which is?
Yeah, well, we've got some interesting things going on. We've got a company out of called BitPagos, and they've started extending credit. Now, I don't know how much I agree with extending credit with digital currency, but you know they're working with a company called Ripio, and they're making these microloans. And you know, when you think about the unbanked, we've talked about Grameen Bank that's done the microlending all over India, and he won the Nobel Peace Prize. But it's interesting to see this company come out and start offering credit in the digital currency market. Personally, you know, I'm not a big debt type person, so it doesn't excite me. But for people who need $500 to $1,000, and you talk about the unbanked, they're talking like no fees, no credit, you know, no bank fees, anything like that.
Right.
Just some interest that they can pay on it.
And potentially, if they hold on to some of those funds, we were talking before the show that it could potentially some of that funds could appreciate as well. You know, maybe they cover that interest cost.
That's a possibility.
Right,
but I don't think they want people borrowing it to hold on to it, doing arbitrage or anything like that. But yeah, I see the the opportunities for them to invest it in a business and grow a business and have the ability to have that credit. We see PayPal doing that now with their credit facility. If you have a certain amount of deposits coming in, they'll give you a certain amount of credit. But that may evolve in this market as well.
Absolutely. And speaking of people making investments, we have a special guest in the studio. We're going to be chatting with him in a minute about the investment he just made recently. But before we do that, let's kind of give a teaser here about luncheon coming up here.
Yeah, real excited. There is such thing as a free lunch.
I know, right? And in this case, most cases not, but you're a disruptor, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So we're disrupting that rule.
We're disrupting the free lunch, but we're definitely doing a free luncheon. We'll tell you about it at the end of the show.
Yeah.
And for people that go to setupcoinwallet.com and get their coin wallet set up, they'll be invited to hang out with the leaders of the disruption in Atlanta, Georgia, and doing a luncheon every Thursday.
So if they go to that website once again, is
well, we're not going to give that.
No,
set up coin wallet.
So they go there, then that's kind of their free pass to the lunch.
I'll know because in that video it tells them to do some things, and if they don't do them, they're not coming to lunch.
Nice.
So
All right, so let's jump back now into this the current topic of the day.
Yeah.
And so
let's talk about the Bank of Ireland.
Yeah.
Aye.
Well, I'm a quarter Irish, so you're going to have to fill in the other 75%.
Yeah, I mean, here's you talk about the Bank of Ireland. People say, "Oh, is this technology a scam?" Why would the Bank of Ireland be testing this the blockchain, if you will?
Right.
And it's pretty interesting. They this distributed ledger. They have all these really complicated words in digital currency. We need to break through. That terminology, if you will. But they're the Bank of Ireland's doing some testing with Deloitte. Deloitte's a fairly reputable company as well, and to see them create we'll say it in an Irish tone, an immutable, distributed, searchable repository of information, whatever that means. I'm not Irish, and I don't even know what accent that was.
Well, I know, I mean, neither. We're going to try to have that translated.
I was trying to do Scotty.
Have you?
Damn it, Jim.
Have you renewed your Rosetta Stone recently? I think you need to.
No, I know I need to do that. So I need to watch some more Star Trek and listen to Scotty a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, pretty cool stuff. Bank of Ireland getting in the game, and they tested everything, said they could do it within regulatory requirements and do transactions that would make them more efficient. And I think at the end of the article, they talk about how they can speed up the transaction amount from 7 transactions a second to 20,000 transactions a second using this blockchain technology.
And this trial or beta test was in partnership with Deloitte.
Yeah.
So these are big people that it's getting on their radar, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, people search the internet and all they read stuff like, so people seek out negative stuff on the internet, but it's like you're reading an article that Bank of Ireland and Deloitte's involved in. It kind of lends some credibility to the future of digital currency.
Absolutely. And I think one of my favorite quotes you said, I think last week, was don't trust the person, that works 8 to 5 and doesn't have this breadth of knowledge and expertise or whatever, right?
Yeah. No, the people that are doing digital currency are working all hours of the night and figuring out how to really make banking, we call it bankless banking.
Yeah.
That's a cool term. I like bankless banking. So, but here's a bank wanting to get into bankless banking. Figure that one out.
Right. Well, it's in business. If you're not staying ahead of the curve, you're going to be left behind.
You got that right. So
yeah.
they're, banks are recognizing, and we go back to the Napster analogy and we heard a lot of getting to the Dutch central bank. Here's another.
Okay.
You'd think the central bank of a country that's out there testing a prototype, but I did find out in this research that they found this kind of buried in the annual report about this test of them doing a prototype,
right.
Digital currency, and we just see a lot of it going on. We know it's going on in Bank of America and Goldman Sachs, and all the big banks in the U.S. are looking at this. And even J.P. Morgan's kind of turning in the corner going,
really?
Wait, maybe there's something to this. Yeah, Jamie Dimon is kind of he's the piñata or the donkey for the pin the tail on the donkey for the digital currency industry. But yeah, we're excited to see that the Dutch central bank has created a prototype, and they've been testing it. And
it says here that like you said, the Dutch central bank exploring blockchain technology as an avenue for swapping physical cash with digital replacements.
Well, they've already proven it in Africa. They're already doing it in Kenya. So, I mean, people use digital currency all day long, and I mean, the most inefficient form of currency is paper money and coins. Let's just face it. It's, I get coins now, and I want to find a jar to go put them in somewhere, some donation jar. I hate carrying them around. So,
and there's also reference to the Bank of England. Suggested that blockchain technology could be applied, for more centralized.
Yeah, well, this Ben Broadbent is going to be one of those guys. You remember the guy that said that in the patents office that no inventions will ever be, there's no need for a patent office?
That's right.
This guy, Ben Broadbent's going to go down in history because saying that he doesn't feel like Bitcoin won't see major adoption. I believe maybe he might end up being one of those people. But, when you look at the record industry, I think the head of EMI Records said that about Napster as well, and they were basically sold off in scraps at the bankruptcy court. And I've got a good friend, Jay Sammet, who wrote the book Just Disrupt You. Right. And Jay was part of EMI, I guess, during the time. And actually, I think he was in the office when Sean Fanning and his partner were out in the lobby. And they basically turned him away and said, we don't need to talk to these guys. And I think for the banks that say that, hey, blockchain is not that big a deal, that's the same. It's the equivalent of the music industry going, you know what? Or the publishing industry saying, you know what, the internet's not that big a deal. It's not going to hurt us.
And we were talking before the show of some of these terms were thrown around, blockchain and so forth. And you just mentioned Jay's book. You also have a book we want to kind of that's a good reference point, right, for listeners to check that out. And this will kind of fill them in some of the gaps that they may not be. I
almost forgot I wrote that. Yeah, no.
So mention that book, and how would they get a copy?
Well,
of that?
you got the seventh disruption. There was 6 disruptions before that, obviously, and the 7th disruption, of course, is about digital currency and the new currency. And so they can go to coinlifestyle.org or they can go to coinlifestyle.com and they can request a free copy of the ebook. It is an Amazon bestseller.
Right.
It's a good read. And I've got an audiobook. So if they actually email me at coinlifestyle@gmail.com, I'll send them an audiobook as well if they can't read.
Yeah, because we're hitting the
we're
hitting the current topics that's trending each week.
Yeah.
So for folks that want kind of like a baseline of some of these concepts, that would be a great reference point, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you talked about, we were talking about earlier before the show that blockchain, the word blockchain, it's just...
You said it's a dumb word.
It's a dumb word. I think they said, how could we create a word that nobody knows what it is? But I'll tell you a funny story about that. When Bitcoin first came out, it got a lot of negative media. And so we saw kind of the investment professionals and the speakers in the industry try and rebrand it the blockchain.
Right.
And the blockchain, I'm going to use a mobile phone analogy.
Yeah.
The mobile phone technology that powers your phone is kind of like the blockchain. Okay. The apps that run on top of your phone are kind of like the currencies. And there's other types of apps as well that'll run, but a blockchain is nothing but a ledger, a public ledger of a plus and minus column. And so I've got Craig sitting here with us right now, and if I were to send money to you via Bitcoin, let's say he's a miner or his computer's on the Bitcoin network, his computer would actually verify that I have the money to send. And it would change it from my plus column to your plus column, and so it'd be deducted from my account. So that's what we call a bankless transaction, and that's really what we're trying to get everybody to do. Forget the terminology. I mean, internet. Did you know what internet meant in 1991?
No, exactly. Yeah,
another dumb term.
Right.
But
well, when we get hit with these new things, sometimes some folks' reaction is a little bit the fear of the unknown. Much like I was talking to somebody about this show in particular, and the idea of the horseless carriage.
Yeah.
When that first came out, people, they were running. They thought that was like spaceship.
That's a great example.
Right?
Horseless. Yeah, we got the bankless transaction and the horseless carriage.
But the horseless carriage, people literally were fearful of that. They were running off the road. They didn't know what was coming at them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so we're just, now we're in warp speed in what's going on in today's technology. Talk to me about this tipping point we were talking about before the show.
Yeah.
Do you feel...
Yeah. I saw some interesting numbers. Internet has been fully adopted, like 87% adopted around the world in 25 years. And so there's a new prediction that digital currency, or the new currency, will be adopted by 2026. And that puts us out about 16 years. So more wealth was created in the internet in 25 years than the entire industrial revolution.
Wow.
So you think about the digital currency and new currency, the banking industry is far larger than the internet. So there's an incredible opportunity in this space for people that are looking to be pioneers of it. It's not really a time to come in and look for a career.
Right.
You come in looking to be a pioneer right now.
Yeah. And who has made the statement that full adoption is projected somewhere in the neighborhood of 2026?
There's been several sources on it.
Yeah.
I can't give you any one name, but there's been several sources that have put it out there, and they're credible, highly credible individuals. I think one was out of MIT, and I don't know where they come up with the numbers. They're just showing the projections of it.
But that gives you a framework of this isn't 100 years in the future, or this isn't a slow pace.
No, we're talking a decade.
Right, exactly.
A decade's nothing. And to really get in front of this thing and understand why. I mean, digital currency is just more efficient.
Right.
I mean, when your refrigerator, your gallon of milk communicates with your refrigerator that's half empty, and your refrigerator orders, the milk for you from Amazon, and they deliver it to your house. That's where we're heading. Yeah. Internet of Things.
And I know we want to talk about who's joining us in the studio that just made a recent investment, but do we want to hit on these topics regarding to the insurance industry, or?
Yeah, no, we can chat. I was my son here is here.
Yeah.
my youngest, biggest son. And,
all right,
it's great to have him in the studio. His name's Davis.
Davis, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So did you ever think you'd be on a radio show here with your dad?
I did not. It's definitely a new experience for me.
Nice. Well, for a lot of folks. So we were chatting before the show. So tell us your story in terms of, you just made a recent investment?
Well, I was talking to my dad. I had a friend over, and I was talking to my dad about digital currency, and I guess it was a spark, and I wanted to invest in it. And so I put 132 into Ethercoin.
Of your own money?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I worked for the money, and I just put it in, and over time I'll get that money back, and I'll just invest in it again.
So he likes the idea of picking up sticks like one time and getting paid for it 5 times. Okay,
Nice.
So he's bought into that idea.
Yeah.
So he's looking for appreciation in Ethercoin, but he's working. Genesis Mining has been a really easy company for people to work with to do mining, and it's cool because you can mine currency like he's doing. And he can distribute it, so he's distributing 50% of it into Bitcoin.
Right.
So he has a blockchain wallet on his
Right.
phone. His friend Chandler was over the other day, and they were sending money back and forth to each other, and they were like, "This is really cool." And then, of course, they figured out that Xbox Live takes Bitcoin as well.
So that put speaking of tipping points, that put up
that was the two. He said, "How are we get more of this?" But yeah, no, it was very cool. But it's great to see. Really, all my kids understand digital currency, and I think the kids understand it better than the parents do, because they, the idea of paper money and stuff like that, they're glued to their phones now. Yeah,
and I heard something that the younger generation doesn't even think in terms of email anymore.
No.
And it makes us sound
so
old.
No, it's a Snapchat.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's Snapmail. So I'm not going on to Snapchat. Somebody tried to get me on there. Everybody's put their little Snapchat page. I'm not doing that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to do it.
So we have, again, the announcement about the luncheon coming up here, but let's jump into these topics related to the lifeblood of insurance industry is new prospects, right?
Yeah. And, I spent 9 years in the insurance industry chasing people.
Okay. Right.
But yeah, we were always looking for a door opener product. We were always looking for a way to make it easier. I mean, getting up at 5 a.m. and leaving voicemails on CEOs' phones, waiting for them. Hey, this is Tom. Can you give me a call back? It's like,
or weekends or evenings or that kind of thing.
Yeah, or going to all the networking events and stalking people. Yeah, that was no fun. But
so we're going to talk about business owners and currency in just a moment. Just want to remind our listeners you're listening to the New Currency Show here on the Pro Business channel with Tom McMurrain, our sponsor, and the subject matter expert, written the book on the topic, best-selling author. So in terms of business, because we're on the Pro Business channel, so talk to us about a business owner interested in accepting this new currency.
Yeah, we've got a great company in Atlanta called BitPay.
Right.
And they were founded here, and we're excited to have them. Great people, and I've been in touch with them. James from BitPay has given me some great information. I signed up for my own BitPay account, and it's very, very easy. So if you want to take Bitcoin at your place of business, see, a lot of people think Bitcoin's like Hotel California. You accept the coin and you can't bring it back into real cash. But what BitPay does, for a 1% fee on a business account, they'll actually allow you to accept Bitcoin. And let's say in your back office you say, I want 30% of it to stay in Bitcoin, and I'd like 70% in cash deposited in my account. And you set all that up, and it takes less than 5 minutes. Okay, and on your first free account, for your first setup, they'll allow you up to $100 transaction limit. With no IDs, no credit checks, nothing like that. And all they want to know is who you are, what's your business about, but very, very simple sign-up process. And so we have been, insurance agents, financial services agents have been, adopting it and saying, wow, so every business I walk into, instead of saying, or if you figure a guy that sells credit card machines or whatever, it's like, hey, do you take credit cards? It's like, get out of my business, If you've ever sold credit card processing, it's no fun.
Right, yeah.
But, insurance agents and financial services professionals are always looking for something different to talk to their clients about. And this is a great, what I would call icebreaker or hook question.
Right.
If Craig's a business owner and I walk into his business and I say, excuse me, Mr. Williams, are you all taking Bitcoin right now? So where's that going to lead? What do you think his answer is?
Not right now, yeah.
Depending where you are in Georgia, it could be, what the hell's that? To the city, like, yeah, I've heard of it, but I haven't considered it.
Yeah.
And there's a whole audience out there that, people really ought to look into, because there's a lot of people starting to use the new currency. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is, if you're in business, one of the rule number ones, at least in the top 10, is make it easy for customers to do business with you, or give them options. People love options.
Yeah.
And so if you just limit it to U.S. currency, but obviously if you don't set credit cards, you're going to lose revenue, right? And if now PayPal, that's an option for allowing people to pay online.
Yeah.
And now all the Apple apps or the digital, you go into the stores, everybody's just swiping with their phone these days, right?
Yeah. I see even companies like, there's very few new currencies that have like MasterCards or Visas associated with them. You've got Coinbase, which has one. You can actually set up a Coinbase account. OneCoin's still very much in their early stages, but they have a MasterCard relationship as well, because they're KYC compliant, which means know your customer. Visa, MasterCard won't deal with anybody in the new currency space that's not KYC compliant. They have to know who's making the transaction, or they can't issue a card to them. So we'll see kind of some of these hybrid companies come out where they're not completely decentralized. They have a centralization element to it, because they have to collect ID and information like that. But I think, in really staying on the core topic is just talking about businesses. How many businesses, if you're a financial services representative if you walked into 100 businesses in Atlanta and asked them if they accepted Bitcoin, and you could sit down in 5 minutes with bitpay.com and show them how to do it.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, big time. And
you build a relationship. If you bring value to somebody, what's the next natural question as a financial services agent? So, who handles your insurance needs, or who handles your investment needs, things like that.
Well, you become that kind of trusted partner, or somebody that brought something new to their business.
Yeah.
And automatically they want to kind of that repay that.
Yeah.
And have open additional conversations with you.
Yeah, well, we had an example with a lady, Kathy, who is a Korean lady, and she's on the board of the Korean Business Association, and it was really interesting to see her response when we did the first transaction with her and showed her how easy. I mean, when she saw how easy it was for people to sign up in a matter of, say, less than 2 minutes,
right.
They could sign up for their account. And be able to transact business and go transfer value. And I think in business, what we have to find in Atlanta is we have to find like the grocery stores, the central places that
right.
would be willing to accept it. Because, there's a lot of people out there that are unbanked and they need a way to do business. And this is an answer.
I know last week we've talked about the unbanked,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure that'll be an ongoing conversation throughout the shows.
For sure.
But I know you're the master of coining new terms, but I got one here for you.
Okay, go
you ready?
ahead.
Because we often talk about
Did you buy the domain already? I'm ready. I'm on it.
No, I'm going to offer it to you, whatever. Yeah, I'm going to resell it to you. But I think you're going to like this one, right? So when we talk about unbanked, but we also talk about, you've talked about a number of times in your book and on the show about this idea of bank fees and that, all these arbitrary costs. And so my thought is that the opposite of being unbanked is overbanked.
Overbanked, yeah.
We're overbanked.
Yeah, we're overbanked, yeah, for sure. Yeah,
because they're charging you
we're
fees.
bent over the bank.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Or sometimes there's that one commercial like where there are so many fees related, and say, be careful when you walk in don't make eye contact with the teller because you're going to be charged a fee, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's a great thing. One of these articles that we were talking about this morning in the titles, it talked about a company called Avalancha.
Yeah.
And they're actually offering a 10% discount if you use digital currency through their app. And you find that also with an app. I'm trying to think of the name of what's the one with the Purse.io.
Oh, yeah.
Purse.io is something that you can get discounts at Amazon, which already has great prices.
Right, yeah.
Sometimes you can save 10 to 20%. But
or that site Gift, right? So you get a gift card.
You can go buy gift cards on gyft.com. That's another great one. But there's so much when you eliminate the bank fees. I was working with a guy out of Baltimore that had an aircraft company. Uh-huh. His merchant transaction fees for his business was $146,000 a year.
Oh my God!
So my first question was, if I could put that back in your pocket, would you be open to a new idea?
Come on by.
Yeah, come on by. And it's that's the great thing about digital currency is there are no fees. And if there are, they're minimal.
Right,
like with BitPay, it's only at 1%.
Right.
It beats the heck out of the 3.5 you're paying your credit card processor in your bank right now, plus their monthly accounting fee.
And you mentioned when you do a transfer from one, it's like 4 cents, right? 4 pennies.
No, that's not always true. It depends if you're using somebody's app. Like blockchain charges 4 cents for a transaction.
But regardless of the amount,
could be
it's not a percentage.
Could be $1 million.
So really 4 pennies, right?
Yeah.
Because you say 4 cents, you think 4%.
Yeah. No, 4 pennies.
4 pennies.
Yeah. No, that's peanuts.
And speaking of
that's less than a nickel. You got change for a nickel? You remember that?
That's a good one. And speaking of those transaction process, what's the largest transaction? That's an interesting stat. That's been
$150 million.
$150 million.
Yeah, that flew over Bitcoin, the blockchain, and that got the bank's attention because when you can send that much money with a click of a button. And by the way, if I was sending $150 million to somebody like Craig over here,
right.
I think I'd send $1 first, call him up and go, hey bud, did you get that? Because if he says if he says no, I'm not sending the other 149.
We'll send the first $1 to Craig. You can send the other 149 million. Yeah, to me. Yeah,
because it is an irreversible transaction.
A little off topic here, but I know one of the headlines was Panama. What's going on in Panama?
The Panama Papers.
Yeah.
That's a show in itself. But pretty interesting. A big law firm in Panama, I guess a whole trove of their documents. 11.5 million documents got disclosed to WikiLeaks and has been published. And there's a whole bunch of heads of countries. In fact, the head of Iceland, I think, just had to resign over I think it's the prime minister. But there's a lot of people that are going to get thrown under the bus on that one because there's a lot of documentation of illegal or covert money that has flown through Panama, which it flows through. It flows to the U.S. too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just Panama just happens to be the law firm that got, was in Panama. But yeah, interesting scenario. The question is, would the blockchain be able to prevent that type of covert activity? And the answer is probably yes. Because there are certain you can do it.
Right?
You can. Well, everybody will see the transaction,
right.
But you don't necessarily know where it's coming from. So if the head of Iceland's transferring $800 billion through Panama, you're going to see an $800 billion transaction, but you may not know who sent it. But that type of transaction is going to raise some eyebrows.
I would think so. Yeah.
And my big thing is I don't think the banks want 100% transparency, and I don't think the governments do. So I think that's why you're going to see a fight against transparency.
Well, that's what get us into a whole mess of 2008, right?
Oh my gosh!
I mean, that's
five shows.
I'm saying, that's a sit down for a weekend, or that's a binge show. Yeah,
yeah, no kidding.
So let's make sure we let folks know about your luncheon you mentioned at the top of the show.
Yeah,
right.
So here's the big surprise. There is a free lunch at the Capitol Grill, which is a nice, really nice place up in Dunwoody, and we'll do that every Thursday.
Okay.
You do have to RSVP, so no walk-ins are allowed.
Right.
And you do have to do this setupcoinwallet.com transaction first.
Right.
So we're going to verify that. If you don't come in, you got to pay for your lunch. So
come back next week.
Yeah, for 2 minutes, you do your transaction, and we don't get any of your data or anything like that. Actually, we're going to send you money if you do that, because we're going to show you how to do that transaction with United Way and make that donation. But we want everybody in Atlanta to do a digital currency transaction. Yeah. That's our goal.
That's your mission.
That's our mission.
One of your missions, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Seth Godin said if you can get 1,000 people to get committed or passionate about what you're doing, you can change the world, and that's what we're going to do here in Atlanta. We're going to start right here.
And we've got a few million.
Yeah, I think we get 1,000 here. We got 4 in the room. How many more I got to go?
Exactly.
No, it's cool. But they can go to newcurrencylunch.com to register for that. They'll get an email which has the Setup Coin Wallet. So if they can remember newcurrencylunch.com, they can do that. And that's going to be every Thursday. And a lot of great people. We've got people in Atlanta that are very, very excited about the new currency, and business professionals, people from all walks of life are coming up to that luncheon. It's a good time.
Well, I did 2 out of the 3 so far. So I went to the newcurrencylunch.com, registered, did my wallet, and now I'm on good for lunch.
You're
right?
good for lunch.
Yeah. So I'll see you all there. So that's
we got an extra seat in the car if you want to go with us.
I know. I'll be there.
People are like up there right now going, dude, he's on the radio. Isn't he supposed to be here?
Right, exactly. So it's every Thursday immediately following the show. So that's going to be awesome. So speaking of shows, so what's the next week's topic?
Yeah, we're going to be definitely talking about, the blockchain. We're going to be, going on more about how the blockchain benefits businesses. I'm going to be introducing some business owners from BitPay, people that are using digital currency, where they actually will tell you how they're taking it, how they're using it, what their experience has been. But I'm excited about working with bitpay.com. And James, thanks for your help if you're out there listening.
Well, what's cool is when I was...
By the way, BitPay has 60,000 customers right now.
Wow.
Using BitPay to take it. And I'm not, I use it. I'm not a promotional agent for them. I'm not getting paid by them or anything. I want to disclose that as well. But it to me, when you look at the quality of the work they've done on their website and how easy they've made it, it's fantastic.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I was just at the Buckhead Business Association breakfast this morning, and mentioned the show coming up this morning, and I mentioned about the new currency show and internet currency and cryptocurrency and so forth. And sometimes you get kind of an odd look; they're not really sure. And I mentioned, as you know, BitPay originated right here in Atlanta Tech Village, and they're like, "Oh, okay, I get it."
Yep.
And tell me more.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, speaking of that, so how would folks find out about you, Tom, and engage with you? What's a good?
Well, I think the main thing is go to the website and request the book first. I want people to understand why it's a disruption, and if they're looking for an exciting career or something, like I said, be a pioneer in something very exciting. We're really teaching people how to build portfolios of digital currency. We're really educating them on. It's kind of like the beginning of the internet.
Oh, it's exciting.
Where we're teaching people how to do an email. That's what we're doing.
and like you said last week, don't take this too serious. This is just maybe a small part of your portfolio. Have fun with it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, adopt something new and bring something new into your space. And speaking of portfolios, Davis, I think he was checking his phone right there and checking his investment.
He's getting his $1 a day. He's stoked about that.
So, Davis, just before we wrap up here, so what are you going to do with your money? Do you have anything on your short list you're going to buy? You're talking about reinvesting it, right? You're going to let it roll over?
Yes, sir. I'll hopefully it'll just turn into exponential, and can go from there and see where it takes me.
And agents will be calling him.
How many eighth graders know the word exponential?
Right.
I like that.
People will be calling him for advice pretty soon, right?
Yeah. No, by the time he's a senior, he'll be like Warren Buffett.
That's
It's
what I'm
phenomenal.
saying. So one more time, the website to reach out to you.
Okay, so you can go to coinlifestyle.com. I've got a blog.
.org
so
as well?
or .org is the blog where
Okay.
they can see the articles that we've talked about today. Those are published on the blog. And all the radio shows, of course, are on the blog as well, so we're posting those. But and if they want to get Coin Life alerts, again, remember the luncheon,
Right.
newcurrencylunch.com. We'd love to see you up at Dunwoody Capitol Grill.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining Amazon best-selling author Tom McMurrain and your host Rich Casanova, along with their guests on this episode of The New Currency Show. Stay tuned for upcoming episodes as they delve into the future of payments, and be sure to check out www.coinlifestyle.org for show updates and, as a listener of the show, a free ebook and more. So head over to www.coinlifestyle.org and join us next time on The New Currency Show.